mobile.
It's okay. Repeats every Saturday. What? Actually?
I'm out
Yeah.
camping right now.
I'm gonna start doing weekly Q&As. Yeah, I think
Oh, I don't think I will be here next week.
that's alright. Yeah, so I
Weekly.
think I'm gonna probably wait a few more minutes for people to show up, and then I'll start answering some
Everyone is
questions.
everyone is literally live in VC1.
Yeah. Don't know what's up with that.
We should move them here, honestly.
Alrighty. I'm just gonna go ahead and share my screen.
Also, this time don't leak your password, okay?
Yeah, I imported my settings from...
Don't leak your password.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a problem this time.
Hello, welcome.
Can we get Larry Sanger on the call?
Yes.
It's unlikely.
Wait, are you recording this?
Yes, I am. Like the previous one, it's gonna be uploaded to YouTube after the fact, and I think for future ones, I'm probably gonna stream live to YouTube as well as Discord.
Who sent your cat in here?
Oh,
Israel.
this person seems to really like my cat.
Wait, let me get the thread off.
Okay. I guess I'll start with the questions now. We've got a couple of people asking to speak. I think maybe we'll bring in a few people from the audience here to
Oh, wait.
speak.
I'm bringing Sam here. Hold up.
Oh wait, this is the event stage chat. Let me
Hello,
pull
Sam.
up. Yes, the thread. And go to the top.
What is that?
Okay. So, first question from Happy One Speed. Do Soroyans have legs? Now, this is something
Yes, they do.
I don't know that we've really thought about this, like the lore.
I mean, they have feet. I don't know if they have legs.
Yeah, I mean, when they're knocked out, you can see they do have legs, right?
Their legs are basically stretch fists, so...
Yeah.
I think the best way to describe them is like Rayman. They just kind of float there.
I mean, that's usually how they're, like, portrayed in art.
Yeah.
Just like a floating sphere. I don't know that we've really established, like, a canon for that. Okay, next question. Sergeant Amazing asks, what does the future of Suroi entail after accounts and 50v50? Well, pretty much we're gonna keep pushing out new content, new modes, you know, guns, buildings, etc. And one of my long-term goals is to make it easy for the community to create new content for the game. So after, like, if I am no longer able to work on it, or, you know, I lose interest or whatever, the game will continue to live on through the community. So basically that involves creating an easy to use building editor, essentially making the game a lot more modular, so it's easier to, like, modify and add new content. basically to make it so that the game can essentially continue to get updates even once I'm no longer working on it, which, to be clear, I do intend to continue working on the game for as long as I'm able to, for as long as I have time. But yeah, that would be the long-term goal.
Someone is asking if we are gonna add the cobalt mode from Survive.
Well, I'm kind of going through the questions in chronological order. I guess I can answer that one. We do have a mode plan. I'm not going to say which one, but it's going to involve some elements of Cobalt, like selectable classes. We're not planning on adding a mode that's exactly like Cobalt, but there will be one that has a lot of the same elements, which is kind of how it's been with like Harvest mode, where it's similar to Surviv Woods mode, but not exactly the same. Which has pretty much been our philosophy from the beginning. Okay, a few questions from Sapphire. What is planned for the future? I already kind of explained that. But yeah, for more like near future stuff, you can look at the roadmap channel on the Discord server, and that will show essentially an overview of what's coming in the next few updates. Okay, here I lost my place. How will you deal with economics and staff? Well, that's kind of a broad question, again from Sapphire. So for now, we don't have many expenses. It's pretty much just the North America server and the domain. So the North America server costs us $15 a month, and the domain is something like $60 a year. So it's really not a lot. For now, it's fully sustainable. Like, even without donations, I'm perfectly able to pay for that on my own, just out of my own pocket. And yeah, the other servers are paid for by volunteers. So yeah, those aren't a problem.
So the donations are basically a backup or something.
Well, yes, but also we've started spending a little bit on marketing. Like, relatively recently we allocated a $200 budget towards marketing, which we've been spending on Google Ads, which has helped to expand our reach a little bit. How will the game progress? Another question from Sapphire. I can't really answer that. It's too vague. Thoughts on Surviv and the competition it brings? Asks Sergeant Amazing. So about Surviv, I can't deny that they've had an impact, like, on our player count. A lot of people have moved to Surviv, and
Hello, the dragons.
I'm not especially bothered by it. Like, we still have a decent number of people playing Suroi, and I'm not gonna... Yeah, it doesn't really change much. Okay. So, TJCJ or Sniper asks, when can we expect port performance improvement update? So yeah, a few people have complained about lag, like especially on the cargo ship where there are a lot of containers. It's not great for performance, and I am planning on investigating that. I'll see what I can do about improving performance there.
The
And
sound also stops sometimes.
oh yeah, there's also that.
Can you guys hear me now?
There'll probably be a fix for that in today's update for the sound. As for like general performance improvements, probably sometime in the coming weeks I'll look into improving performance, especially with like a lot of buildings. How much savings does Suroi currently have? Asks Sergeant Amazing. Oh, someone joined my team just from looking at my screen. Okay, back to the question. How much savings does Suroi currently have? So, yeah, I've been rather bad about financial transparency. Like, I don't really publicize how much we have saved up and where the money is going, which is something I want to improve on in the near future. Right now we have something like $1,000 in savings, and all of our money is in a high yield savings account, which means that we're earning interest on it, which comes out to something like a few dollars a month just off of interest. And yeah, I am planning on releasing bank statements monthly going forward, just to make it clearer like how much money is coming in and how much is going out, and also what it's being spent on. But yeah, to clarify, the only thing that we've spent donation money on so far is this marketing budget of $200, of which we have spent $160 so far.
Can you guys hear me just fine?
You're very quiet.
Try increasing your volume.
Could you improve my volume? Because my volume is already too high as it is. I don't know why my computer sound is like this.
Well, we can't do much, I think.
Can you hear me just fine now? Does it work now?
Well,
We can hear you, but very quietly.
technically it's only supposed to be developers and designers, technically only developers and designers should be able to speak. And yeah, I might bring in a couple of people from the audience maybe towards the end. But, okay.
How about now?
You're a little louder.
Oh, hold on. How about now?
About the same. Okay.
Can you really hear me?
TJCJ asked, what's the current status of Suroi? Like, how's the player base? So, it's pretty much been the same for a while. Like, it peaks around 120, 130 players during the day. And at night it could get as low as 30 or so. But yeah, that's in terms of player counts. How's the player base? Again, kind of a vague question. I know that a lot of people are kind of frustrated that accounts and 50v50 are taking this long, but we only have a limited amount of resources, like a limited number of devs, and I'm currently one of the only active developers working on the game. We have a few things planned before we start really digging into 50v50 and accounts. So unfortunately it is going to be a while, and there's really not much that I could do about that.
Yeah, it's also exams and the finals.
Yeah, that's another thing. People are finishing up with their finals, and I think once finals are over, we're probably going to have quite a few more people available to work on the game. Okay, another one from TJCJ. Judging by how things are going right now, where do you see Suroi in the future? So again, I know that a lot of people have been kind of upset. A lot of people have been leaving, but we've still got plenty of people on the team. We've got developers, we've got designers. We can keep going despite these people having left. We're still in a position where we can continue to make content, and I don't see us slowing down anytime soon. And yeah, as I talked about earlier, I am planning on making a building editor and other resources to make it easy for the community to create content. So even if we're no longer able to make new content for whatever reason, the game can continue to have, well, new content.
Why are they leaving your bracket?
I did not hear that.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Somewhat.
No? I just my sound always like this. I don't like that at all.
You still sound very quietly.
Okay, question from Annihilating Fox. What type of staff are you in need the most of right now? Designer, developer, translator, etc. So pretty much any help is appreciated. Anything that you can help with will help us, but we're probably most in need of developers, especially for things like accounts, as that's really what's slowing us down right now. Like, we have, for example, we already have quite a bit of art for 50v50, but none of our developers really have time to work on it, either working on something else like me or just aren't active. So that's really what's holding us back right now, is lack of developers. Bring back random chat when, asks Sergeant Amazing. So this pertains to the Discord server. A while back,
It was removed for a reason.
someone joined my team named Larry Sanger. That's funny. So yeah, we renamed the random channel to Suroi. And I know some people probably miss the random channel, but really the general channel is what people should be using as a random channel, and the Suroi channel should be used for Suroi specific topics. So basically, yeah, that's actually what the general channel was originally meant for, discussing Suroi itself. So really the roles have reversed there.
Moments before disaster.
Yeah, where the general channel has become essentially a random channel, and the Suroi channel is, which used to be the random channel, is now focused on Suroi-based discussion.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now is a lot better.
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
All right, awesome. So, do you guys get more? Are you guys getting good results every single month, for in terms of where people are playing the game more and more, or is that like stagnating?
It's
I have no
been
idea.
pretty constant for a while. If anything, our player counts are dropping a little bit, but mostly it's been steady for a while.
Why do you think some people are leaving your team, Messenger?
That's kind of a tough question. I know some people
If it's
are.
all right to answer.
I know that some people are upset with our management, like how we handle things, and I've been trying myself to improve on that front, like in terms of communication. But
Some people also moved on.
that's true. Some people probably just got bored and moved on to other projects. Okay, Yobama asks, when Usos nerf? So, yeah, some people have complained about explosive weapons being too powerful. And they probably will be nerfed in the future.
If the nerf.
Yeah, as needed, we can play around with it.
These weapons have been nerfed like 10 times.
Okay. Another question from Annihilating Fox. Are you guys gonna add MIRV grenades or a MIRV grenade equivalent?
There was an idea
Flores?
with Perk.
So I believe it was planned, at least at one point. We are gonna have different types of grenades, definitely, beyond just frag smokes and C4. Okay, another one from Annihilating Fox. What is this person doing? Another one from Annihilating Fox. Will Suroi birthday mode return this 20th? The answer is yes. I am planning on bringing back birthday mode, in fact, with a new throwable. So it should be pretty fun. Alright, question from Hey Hey Boy 420. Will Suroi ever add advertisements in the game that in a small scale in order to aid server costs, or will it stay donation aided for the future, and what's the influence of your decision? So, my plan is to keep Suroi ad-free, essentially for as long as possible. As long as I can support it off of donations alone and my own income, I will. I just really dislike ads. I think they're really intrusive and bad for privacy. They slow the site down, and my goal has always been to make a game that is free, open, and fun, and having ads on the site kind of gets in the way of that. And yeah, as I said earlier, we're not having any trouble with expenses for now. I'm fully able to support the game off of my own income, so no issues there for the time being. And I don't see any coming up in the near future.
So you said you guys have $1,000 in a yield savings account.
That is correct.
And you guys, that's it. That's all the money you guys have for the game?
Yep.
You guys have any marketers?
We don't have any marketers, no.
Do you guys need a marketer? Are you guys looking for a marketer?
Didn't we join with a few IO sites to help get our game spread out?
That is correct, yes. I have contacted quite a few, actually, game sites. Most of them didn't get back to me, but quite a few did.
Are you guys looking for a marketer?
Well, it certainly wouldn't hurt.
I
wouldn't mind marketing for this game, and I'll tell you my portfolio if you'd like to hear it. Like right now.
We're just trying to get through the Q&A
Maybe
right
not
now.
here. We can talk about it after the stream.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, from Damien Vesper. What is the current status of accounts, and do you have an ETA on how long it will take to complete? So, got accounts. The basic account
How much was
system,
Error able to get done?
So, yeah, the basic back end of accounts is finished, like the system for signing in and out, etc. But there's no actual interface for it yet. It's all just server code, and there's nothing in terms of stats or leaderboard yet. And unfortunately, I don't really have an ETA. As I explained, we're kind of short on developers right now, and yeah, I'm pretty much one of the only active developers at this point, and I've been working on bringing you all more content.
Hello, I'm here.
Yes, hello, Pap. So,
Maybe we can.
we have a few devs working on the game, but none of them have really been working on accounts.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of backend developers.
Yes, that's the thing, back-end developers. We don't have a lot of developers who are able to work on the kind of thing that we need for accounts. And that's really where the bottleneck is. So, unfortunately, I don't really have an ETA.
Damien is willing to help on accounts, I think.
Well, that would be good.
I mean, he does the Suroi bot right.
Yeah.
He
Okay.
can try to help, I guess.
Right. Question from Red Queen. If I want to be a developer, what and where should I learn the coding? How much did it take for devs to learn code to code Suroi?
I started learning. I'm a developer. I started learning in 6th grade, honestly. It was pretty early during COVID. And then I started coding Suroi in freshman year, let's say. But it's just a process of creating your own projects, and even like creating small, like maybe like small things after learning JavaScript, step by step. That's what coding language Suroi uses. We use TypeScript. So just doing your own projects, I think, is the best way to learn coding. And of course, asking developers or joining a coding server.
Yeah.
Someone in life that can, guide you, maybe give you, maybe even try to look for small projects to work on. Like, heck, you could probably even have, I don't think Suroi's a pretty complex project, but there's definitely some small projects out there. Once you are able to start coding, JS, they can probably start learning how to do something.
Yeah, Suroi's not a great first project. But yeah, start small. There are a lot of great free resources out there to help you get started with coding. One of them that I would recommend is called Free Code Camp. So you just go to freecodecamp.org and they have a bunch of great courses. There's one on JavaScript, which is essentially the language we use for Suroi. We actually use, as Chips just said, we use TypeScript, which is essentially an expanded version of JavaScript, which adds type safety. But yeah, JavaScript would be a good place to start if you're looking to help develop Suroi. And in terms of how long it would take to learn enough to be able to help with Suroi, I can't really say. It really depends on the person.
Is this streaming on YouTube?
Well, it's not streaming on YouTube, but I'm recording it and it's going to be uploaded to YouTube after the fact. Okay. Question from Megabase Chad. Do you guys collect any site analytics? There are probably some obvious insights about which game modes people prefer most, which maps people prefer, that might really help with user growth. So we do not in fact collect any sort of analytics. It's common, very common for site owners to use things like Google Analytics, but I've avoided that mainly for privacy reasons.
We did have, at one point, there was an old dev named Compositor who had his own, open, I guess, third-party analytics site that would just track the player counts for private sources. The project just got tracking the player count. That was over, a 6-month period before the website went down.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. People have probably asked questions here in the event stage channel. I've gotten through all the ones from the thread. really seeing much.
Why is Kringle is actually a developer, I think.
Yeah, we had him on the team for a while.
Badges that you could unlock instead of ones that are
Someone asked, I think, what Hazel meant, or what it stands for.
Well, I have it here. Actually, don't remember it off the top of my head, but I do have it written down here. Okay, yeah, so HAZEL stands for Hazardous Agents Zone Enforcement Liaison.
Gun skins?
there
No,
will be
I
no
don't think that's a good idea.
I don't. Could we even do gun skins for a 2D game?
Sidey.
Yeah, I don't know how that would work. We're
It'd
not.
be really weird because it'd have to modify a lot of things on the client side.
Yeah, we're not planning on adding gun skins.
Increase volume. Hang on.
Okay, we have Arman Z here saying, if your game was written in JavaScript, you could add Suroi to Steam. It would allow the game to become even more popular. So we are planning on doing a Steam release at some point. Maybe on full release when we hit 1.0, which is going to be, it's going to be a while after 50v50 and accounts both are out. We might do it sooner.
Is there a clear path to 1.0 right now? You said accounts after that?
Well, afterwards, we're also planning on, due to a few people leaving, I'm not sure how it's going to be going forward, but we were planning on doing a general overhaul of the game of various POIs, like especially the refinery.
Yeah, the port was like the start, I think.
Yeah, so pretty much polishing it up and getting it into a state where we could really call it done, because there's a lot of jank still in a lot of areas. For example, I recently refactored the layer system, but there's still a bunch of weird edge cases and issues with it, which we have a few devs right now working on polishing that up. So we can't really call the game done until I feel like we've reached a certain level of polish, and we're sort of slowly working towards that by redesigning locations and stuff. And yeah, that did start with the port.
Then Vicky asks, are we able to get a percentage bar to see how much progress in development, I'm assuming, is done in PlayStation? Which I guess is the progression to 1.0, I'm assuming that's the thing. Or just how complete updates are in general.
The thing with coding is that it's extremely difficult to get a concrete progress bar like that. You might think that you're 90% done with a project, but in reality you're only 20% done. It usually takes a lot longer than you think it will. So it's very difficult to give concrete estimates, unfortunately.
Adding on to that, in the current roadmap, updates are broken down by what is being planned to add. This roadmap, could visual representation be done via implement that into the game?
It could be done, yes. I think that would be a good idea. It's not ideal how much of this stuff is only available on the Discord server, because I know a lot of our players aren't on there, and it's not ideal to have such important information accessible only on the Discord server.
People are asking for lobby clearing.
Sorry, what was that?
People are asking for lobby clearing.
Oh, I don't think that would be a good idea. We did it before a couple of times, and it was just chaos, and some people got upset, mainly because we didn't announce it. I think if we were to enable dev cheats, it would be part of an event that we organized beforehand, so it's not like a surprise.
I actually have a question of my own, if you don't mind me asking real quick.
Sure, go ahead.
So I know that you're planning to eventually stream to YouTube, but how about Twitch? Have you ever considered that venue?
Well, theoretically, we could stream to both Twitch and YouTube, as well as Discord. I've never really done anything like that myself. I'm not sure what the logistics of setting it up would be, but it's probably something that could be arranged.
Alright, well, okay, I just wanted to throw that out there because the tools when it comes to like actually streaming for bots and stuff, there's a ton of options when it comes to things like whether it's chat moderation or whatever, like implementation for like audience interaction.
Yeah, well, speaking of audience interaction, now that I've gotten through most of the questions from that thread, I think we can maybe bring in a few people from the audience to speak. But
there's a few more. Hang on, I'll just read them out right now. There's a question forwarded that asks for an update on game moderation. Is there going to be any changes to game moderation in the future?
yeah, we had quite a few things planned for that, actually. One thing would be the implementation of packet-based recording. So basically, instead of recording a video, it would be recording the actual data that is sent, which would cut down, like data sent to the game, which would cut down on file sizes and make recording easier, having basically a built-in tool, which we already do have a built-in screen recorder, but it's not very good.
Uses the browser API.
And in general, I want to streamline the reporting process, make it so that, again, it doesn't rely on Discord, because that's something I'd like to move away from. Not Discord in general, but relying on Discord for this type of thing. You shouldn't need Discord to submit a report. In the future, it's all going to be built in, so reports will automatically be submitted. You'll be able to upload your recording through the game itself.
I think that was it. Someone asked about tables not being immune to bullets.
Oh.
Because apparently they said I liked it that way. I'm not sure if that was a thing before.
Well, as far as I know, it was always a thing. It wouldn't really make sense if tables were immune to bullets. I think maybe if they took reduced damage, that would make sense. But
I think there was a bug where bullets wouldn't.
oh, there probably was a bug at one point. That might be what they were remembering.
I do remember it because I fixed it.
Yeah, that tracks.
And someone's asking about a zombie mode, but I think this is not kind of appropriate place to do mode
We
suggestions.
have infection mode, so it's the same thing.
Yeah, but there's also already an
Where
infection
was
mode.
the zombie
Someone
one
they
at?
asked also about a practice area where you can shoot an AI, which that is interesting, like an offline mode where you can fight AI.
I think that's absolutely something that I want to implement at some point. Just having a single player mode to be able to practice by yourself or without an internet connection would be definitely a good thing.
Is it possible for an AI to function, like an in-game AI to function offline, like that?
Yeah, absolutely.
One that complexity. Because I know there was a really basic one.
Yeah, basically it would involve running an instance of the game server in the browser, which it's not currently something that's possible, but given that the game is written in JavaScript, in the future it would be possible to. It would require some modifications, but it would be possible to run an instance of the server in the browser, which would also allow for things like 1v1s, which don't rely on any external server. So basically it would be in this future implementation of a 1v1 server, the role of the site itself would only be in connecting the two players. Once a connection is established, basically the game server would run on one of the player's browsers and the other one would make a direct connection over protocol which is called WebRTC, which is the same protocol that's used for things like video calls. So it would be basically a direct connection between two players for the purpose of a 1v1. And the advantage of that approach would be it would cut down on lag essentially and reduce the resources that are needed to run basically unlimited 1v1s. Because if the game server is running on, well, the server itself, it puts more strain on it the more people are playing. But if the server is running on one of the player's browsers, that load is essentially taken away.
Someone asked about the battle pass. I think we've already decided that's a no, right?
Yeah, we've already established that we're not planning on adding any sort of battle pass. However, we are going to add achievements, and I don't know, we haven't really thought it through yet, but potentially some way that you could earn cosmetics through achievements. We discussed it a little bit, but yeah, that's something that would be coming with accounts.
And then Hycotanic asks about a tournament server, which I assume would be in like 1v1, but in a tournament format.
Yeah, like organized 1v1s. That's a possibility. We might want to explore something like that in the future. Something to bring the community together. That's something that we need more of, and is part of why I'm doing this Q&A stream. Just having events to bring the community together. And I feel like if we do more of that, it will help increase our retention essentially of players in the community. And maybe for future streams, I will do some sort of special event where, like some sort of challenge mode almost. Like as mentioned, we could enable dev cheats, or we could like multiply the spawn rate of airdrops by 10 times or something along those lines. But yeah, something to make the game more interesting during this stream. 100 Suroians versus 1 Henry. That's funny.
So on that note of like events, technically speaking, with the way like dev skins and stuff are made, we could have like a bounty where if you kill like, you know, like a certain person, you get sent like a link, but then again, it's tied to the Discord. Like, you know, skin for like killing somebody.
I remember seeing I think I saw a suggestion about this, where it was like, if you kill Hassanger or something, it's an achievement, something like that, you mean? Like, you get something for killing.
Could be fun.
Have it be like a limited like event thing, instead of being like an achievement, because one achievement can be possible almost at any time of the year.
That's true, yeah. And also, it's going to cause a lot of problems for Hassanger.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be
done all the time.
If there was an achievement for killing me, I definitely would be targeting more.
Like what I'll say, and Henry, like I know that we discussed this a bit, like about like events later on. And I was talking about how I was thinking about maybe investing in another like private server. There was actually like during the Surviv days for viewer interaction. There was this mode, I believe, well not a mode, but it was like a little game that they would play, and I don't know if it was called Assassin. It was something along those lines, where basically the streamer would spectate a person, and so basically people would try to stream snipe him. And it was a game where you kill him, then you're the one that's hunted. Then you're the one that's hunted. I feel like I feel like an event like that would be implemented in the future.
Yeah, that could be fun. Definitely, there's lots to think about. Lots of fun ideas for community events that we really should have started to explore a long time ago. And I think at this point we can probably bring in somebody from the audience. So
if people would like to start raising their hands to speak now, you may speak.
yeah, go ahead. So if anyone's interested in speaking to me, to the dev team, go ahead and raise your hand now.
Okay,
There we go.
Vindicky is
Got
speaking.
one person.
I apologize if I've mispronounced your name a few times.
It's Vindici.
Vindicy, sorry.
It's Ace, thank you.
When you were talking about like making it community based, were y'all planning to make like tools for the community to download and then like implement into the game later on?
Well, not exactly. It's, I suppose it would be more about being able to more easily create your own custom maps, etc.
Like a creator's menu?
Well, that's the general idea. But having like a building editor and a thing where, yeah, you could essentially create your own buildings, maybe obstacles, and then create custom maps where those buildings spawn. There's a lot of potential for like community content along those lines.
Alright. So that's just the base idea. So with Steam and downloading the game, like I mentioned, not being in the browser, is it just going to be in the browser for now, and then maybe eventually later on we could download it in our own way?
Yeah, so we have plans for, as well as a Steam release, we have plans for iOS and Android apps. So we've run into a few roadblocks there. One of them being the privacy policy. We do need a privacy policy in order to submit the game to the App Store and the Google Play Store, but we haven't really had anyone active or interested in creating the privacy policy, and there's also like the legal implications of that. Like, we don't have anyone on the team who's a lawyer to really validate that. So that's one of the roadblocks. The other one is essentially dealing with Apple. I've been unable to register for Apple's developer program. I've been going back and forth with their support for a while, and they haven't gotten back to me yet. Like, they keep saying that they're, like, evaluating stuff with their internal teams, but it's been months and still nothing on that. I called them a while back, and yeah, they essentially said the same thing, where they're something with their internal teams. I'm not sure exactly. But that's what's holding back our iOS and Android releases.
Yeah, because I was at school like a few days ago, and I was on my phone and I experimented, and it actually worked on my phone. Now, when my girlfriend yesterday, she tried playing on her tablet, it didn't work on the browser, so I don't know if it's selective.
Yeah, so it does work fine on mobile in the browser, but of course it's always better to have a dedicated app. It'll help to increase our reach and potentially help with performance.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we can probably bring in someone else from the audience now. I saw Sergeant Amazing there was requesting to speak.
Okay. Yep. There's no requests right now. Oh, here we go. He's back.
Okay.
Alright, hi. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Alright, so I kind of wanted to expand more on the content, or the user-created content for Suroi. I know it's like not really like implemented yet, but how would that kind of work with the game? Would it be like part of the official game, or would it be like a separate site?
It would be part of the official game, essentially. I haven't entirely thought it through yet, but there'll be a built-in building editor, a way you can create your own buildings, maybe even obstacles, and also a way to create custom maps where you can have those buildings spawn in, and essentially customize the game in a bunch of different ways. Maybe even things like being able to change the grass color, etc., to make your own game mode.
Oh, so it'd be kind of like the Surviv custom games, or custom maps. Not just that.
Well, not
like,
exactly. It would be considerably more advanced than that.
Yeah.
Being able to customize pretty much every aspect of the game would be my end goal.
Sweet. That's all I have to say.
well, if anyone else wants to speak...
Another thing on...
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I want to say... Can I say something on the user-generated content really quick?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so the user-generated content that we have right now, we had a contest on it all the way back in March, and we finally came to a conclusion on the final winner, whose name is Timo Pro, and we've been working on their design since they won the contest. And I really do think they took on that. They really did a good job with it, and I think that hopefully, as soon as we get it done, it can incorporate into the mode very well. Or, no, it can just go into... Actually, I'm not sure. Is it going into normal game mode?
If you mean, like, the flooded flint bunker, yeah, that one is going into normal mode and has been implemented.
Yeah. So, when we get that done, and the update and all that completed, hopefully we can have another contest with the creator kit. I think Amy, yeah, just earlier this week posted the updated creator kit with all the updated assets.
Right.
So hopefully soon enough we can have another one of those building contests and have a wider range of people because of the updated creator kit. Because what the creator kit can help people do is make buildings and basically just get their ideas down on paper, so to speak, instead of like drawing it, you know?
Right. And especially with some of the new assets from the port, it's going to give people some more creative freedom.
Yeah. So don't miss out when we announce the next building contest, because we will guarantee that we will do one in the future. I'm not sure if it will be the same as the one we held in March, where we accepted and incorporated the building, but I'm pretty sure if it does go that way, it'll be incorporated into some sort of mode where it doesn't impact the lore, you know?
Yeah, I think 50v50 could be a good fit for a lot of the community buildings. Especially given, I'm not going to give too much away about it, but there are going to be a lot of buildings, a big need for buildings, so it would be good to have some community buildings in there.
On the
Yeah,
topic
so
of
if you're ever interested in... No, you got it, you're good.
Oh, because you were going before, that's fine.
Okay. If you're ever interested in submitting a building to us, you can do it through the suggestions forum area. You can make a building of your own and you can submit it, and you'll get public and developer feedback on your buildings. And we might, even if it's good enough, we'll consider it and we'll toss the idea around and entertain the idea in chats that are private, you know.
Okay, a couple more things in the chat. Obviously, you'll make sure adjust community designs so that they follow the art guide, asks Damien. And yes, of course, any community submissions, we will tweak them as needed to make them fit in with the rest of the game. And then really hyper said, Survev community wanted to ask why still run the game. Well, the thing is, as I said earlier, I'm not planning on giving up anytime soon, and I will say I think that Survev's days are most likely numbered. Like, what they're doing, ultimately what they're doing is illegal, and it's gonna catch up to them eventually. Whereas Suroi is 100% original assets, original everything. We're not at risk of being sued or anything.
100% implies that the idea is also original.
Well, obviously the idea is
I don't think you
original.
can copyright ideas on gameplay though.
Ideas? No, I don't think so. Mechanics, maybe, but since everything is only inspired, and since they don't have any patents on the actual mechanics, I don't think they can.
Yeah, well, Surviv
No, I think you
itself.
can copyright mechanics, can't you, Damien? No.
No, you can't copyright
Oh, you
mechanics.
could.
It's only things like art and potentially
You'd have to
code.
patent the mechanics
If
and-
it's enough, code could also be copyrightable, but not mechanics. And I mean, Surviv itself is heavily inspired by PUBG, so it's not exactly original itself.
That's true. Yeah.
The only mechanic that I know that has any kind of like copyright with regarding it is the, I forget what it's called. Like I think it's called the rival system. I forget what it's called, but basically the enemies learn off your moves and they are able to adapt. I forget what game it is. I'm pretty sure oh my gosh, I'll have to look into it. Like, there is, as far as I know, that like there is actually a company. I don't know how they did, but there's a company that actually has like a game, like a game feature as like under a copyright. I would have to look it up real quick.
I know that there is one like patented, but I think it was Sega that patented having mini games in loading screens. That's one that I remember.
I very vaguely remember something. I don't know if it was a mechanic. Now that I think about it, but like about Power World or something. I know there was a lot of stuff going on there.
Okay, so I got info on it. It is indeed called the Rival System, and it is owned by Warner Brothers. The game was it was used in Middle Earth, Shadow of Mordor. So it was a Lord of the Rings movie. I'm assuming, not movie, game. So there, it's either called the Nemesis system or the Rival system. It depends on where you look.
Alright, well I think I'm going to do one last call for if anyone wants to speak, go ahead and raise your hand now. But I think
I wanted to ask about the merch actually, because I know we were kind of like on the fence about it based on the poll. But if merch is something that we are going to do, I was wondering, would we run a community event for that? To design the merch? Because I know that was on the table at some point.
I think that it would be really cool if we made merch designs based on stuff made by the community. That would really like tie us in better.
And if you think about it, that's another way to market the game.
Also true. It's kind of like advertising.
Yeah.
Will say I agree with Damien on this. We're not going to make much off it.
Well, we don't have to spend much on it either. That's the thing. I don't think we have to spend anything to do it, so we might as well.
There'd still be no ROI. big thing on it.
Return and invest. I guess. I mean, in the end, we could always just slap a logo on like a Redbubble shirt or something. I don't think that would cost us anything.
One shirt, no, but like depends on how many you make.
I thought you make them after you get orders.
Yeah, I thought it would be a huge source of income for us, but anything helps.
I don't think we're in the stage of the game where we can consistently get people to like be like, yeah, this is like something I want to represent. I think once the game is more polished and arguably more popular, merch is an option. Right now, I don't think it's anything close to what we should focus on.
Yeah, I don't think it should be our focus.
Yeah, it wouldn't be really a focus. It'd be more like kind of, yeah.
Well, if we're outsourcing it, though, here's the thing: is that we're not actually necessarily taking up time of staff. So that's why I don't really see a disadvantage to doing it if it's not costing us directly.
Outsourcing costs more than in-house by a large.
Not outsourcing to new workers, though. We're like asking the community if they want to make designs, not paying people to make them.
To be completely honest, I wouldn't buy merch just to donate to Suroi. I would actually wear it.
I think merch, a plush would make more sense than anything.
I would get
Maybe
shirt.
a pin of some sort.
I think a pin would be good. A plush would be really cool.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
But I feel like a plush is just, unless we would have to make them. That's the thing.
I mean, yeah,
If we couldn't get
it's not
t-shirts.
that hard. Kind of just here's a ball, or a plush is done.
Yeah, I guess it's true. A Soroyan is just 3 balls. That's true.
Or it depends on the angle.
Someone just said Clash of Clans in Suroi in the
I
event.
agree with that.
What does that even mean?
Yeah, can we just add the Goblin from Clash of Clans to Suroi?
Which one? I think we should add log bait.
The what?
Log bait.
Oh, the log. Yeah, you break a tree and it turns into a log and it rolls.
Okay, that's actually like not the worst idea.
Tree felling in Suroi.
So I saw Pekka asked earlier if like servers would be rated on like the main page. I don't think that'd be a bad thing per se, but like at the moment,
Yeah, if we had more players.
I can't think of any like community servers.
I think there is one. I think Suroi Fun is a community server.
I mean, I know
On
Mo's
my phone.
that died when.
Suroi Fun, I think it's called.
That
I
is
think
that is
actually
canonically what happened to him. By the way, he did just spontaneously combust.
That's true. That's what happened. I think GLB also does have a server, but I think it's their private server, not like
They just do it for
public
like
one.
in-house scrimming and stuff.
Yeah.
Name Tap is not a speaker. Wasn't he a speaker before?
He was.
I think I'm losing it.
Alright.
The other thing about community servers is that I'm worried it would kind of divide the player base, which is something we're trying to avoid while we have less players right now.
Yeah, well, community servers would be like a long-term thing.
Yeah.
We're talking years in the future.
So this is something I've been wondering about for like a while. So the early game is kind of eh. It seems like a lot of things we've added as of late have been very endgame focused, like or just like 1 to million type weapons. I'm wondering if we're ever gonna like actually focus more on the early game.
Well, let's see here. We are adding a new gun in the next update. It's not exactly an early game weapon. It's exclusive to the new bunker that we're adding.
That's a problem I have. I've expressed my issues with it. I don't think POI specific weapons are that great. Like, I get you want to entice people to go to POIs, but are we doing the test today? Because in order for me to get my point across, I have to leak a little bit of the stats.
Yeah, we are doing the test today. In fact, it is up right now. If you go to test.suroi.io, you can try out the new update.
Can I do a lead?
So, from what I've seen with the new gun, it's just a better spear, right?
Well, not exactly. It's based on the spear, but it's has a lower fire rate and a longer reload time, and it's less accurate. But it does considerably more damage.
That's the problem. The difference is like what, 30?
Oh,
Let's
just wait a second.
You're
about that.
cutting out.
I was sorry, someone came into my room.
Oh.
The damage is what I've seen, like 3 or 4 more. The fire rate isn't that much different. I just think a one-of-a-kind weapon should not be as strong as the more recent ones have been. And if they're gonna be that strong, maybe putting them in airdrops is a good idea.
Well, no, the idea is this gun is powerful enough that you really don't want it appearing more than once in a game.
I think the problem here is that we focus so much on that kind of gun. At least this is what I'm gauging. That we aren't really adding guns that you can just find everywhere. And while it's fine, it's like where you are right now, where there's no specific thing. There's no guns being added outside of these buildings. I'm guessing that's what the point is, and it's something I see. If you're in an area with only crates, there's not like a lot of things happening.
I mean, yeah, but it's more, I don't want to feel like I'm kind of forced to go to a POI.
You think that we're too POI heavy, not that we're too early game light?
I mean, it's kind of a mix of both, where early game weapons leave a lot to be desired, which makes sense, they're early game. But the balancing within them is weird because, like, take the MP5K for example. It's incredibly strong, in my opinion, when dueled.
Yeah, it probably needs a buff, or nerf rather.
Someone asked minigun. Just the word minigun.
I agree with that.
I really liked the minigun in a Surviv. It was very fun, even though I felt like it wasn't that good.
Yeah,
it felt really powerful using it.
I don't think we'll be adding like an M134 equivalent. It's just really not balanced.
Oh yeah, I think in hindsight, I think they were asking if the new gun is a minigun.
It's not.
Oh, yeah, no, it's not.
I think he also asked, Damien asked what the name of the gun was, since it was already in testing, or public test.
Do you believe it's the SVU It should be AS, but in game it's just the SVUA.
Yeah. Well, let's see. We're coming up on an hour and 20 minutes at this point.
Yeah, he just found the code for it too, even though we did just say it at the SVUA. Pekka Tank asks thoughts on clans, which is that sounds a bit vague, but thoughts on clans.
Well, we are going to add clans at some point. Probably not in the first accounts update, but somewhere down the line.
There was another question following that, which is there going to be tags, clan tags?
Well, that's one I'll have to think about. I think it would be cool.
Also, a global leaderboard.
Yeah, that's definitely something that's coming. Yeah, in the first accounts update, I think.
Amazing, can you shoot the gun for me real quick? That spread is not that much. I think at all.
Damn, that's nice.
That spread is just not there.
If there was anyone else who wanted to go onto the stage, now is probably a good time.
Yeah, I think
Any plans for stationary weapons? I think we've talked about that, right?
we have.
Yeah.
Like turrets and stuff? Like relatively recently, too.
Yeah.
I thought it was already decided on, because I know there was talk about it, and it was
I don't think they
said
had a
no and
final
suggestion.
decision.
I think it is actually in the suggestion rules. Let me see. No, it actually is not.
So are radios ever getting changed?
Yeah.
Yes, actually. We're going to replace radios with a throwable called the Flare, which will work kind of like strobes did in Suroi.
On the topic of strobes, are airstrikes planned?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
I don't know that they were planned for any specific update, but they are planned.
Probably 50 is what I figured.
Did we hear from SB1AK, who's joined the stage, but I think they've been muted this whole time?
Yeah, I haven't talked yet. I've been kind of waiting for an invite.
If you wanna, yeah.
So,
Can I get screen share permissions real quick?
I'll do that, and in the meanwhile, SB, if you wanna talk.
So, I'm wondering about how the balancing works in this game. Is there, like, a spreadsheet where you guys have, like, the damage per bullet and then the mag size times, like, a rarity or something? I'm wondering if there's, like, a uniform balancing, and if you guys have had any problems with power creep from the newer guns.
There's been a few cases. Like, the SKS is like really strong on launch.
Yeah, and I was also wondering, like, since I know that you guys do real balancing, for instance, with the burst AR, I forget the exact name. It was nerfed from a 30 mag size to a 20. Do you guys have any other plans for guns? Because, like, you know, I think that the MG36 is really strong, Do you guys have plans on power scaling or anything?
I'm not really sure what you mean by power scaling.
Just like making sure that everything matches up for like the rarity tier it is, like where you can get it, or like the drop chances from the different loot crates, or how many of them you see a game times, like how strong they are compared to everything else on the field. Because obviously an AK isn't as strong as an MCX spear, you know, in terms of, I would assume, damage per second, but don't quote me on that one. Because like, is there balancing like that happens? Like, is there math involved?
Well,
or is it just like vibe based?
Not exactly math. We'll do. Generally, when we add a new gun, we'll do play tests and things like that to sort of get an idea of where we want the gun to be. When it comes to like loot spawn chances, it's usually down to, like, we usually position it relative to something else. So, like, for example, a vector will have roughly the same chance of spawning from various locations as, say, a vector. There are similar levels of rarity.
I see. One more thing. I've noticed that the SR25 does 25 damage a hit, or 33 damage a hit, compared to the Mini 14's 25. And I think that they're kind of cousins guns in my mind. So I think it's a little bit silly that it takes 4 hits from both of them to kill an unarmed player, because, you know, 33 to 100. So I was wondering if it'd be possible to, you know, tick the SR25 up one. It's actually funny that Hossanger has one in his inventory right now. But
yeah.
It's like, do we think we could, you know, bump that up just so it feels slightly different in the early game? Because it's, you know, I feel like there's kind of not really a reason to take it over the Mini in the early game, and it kind of just feels like one of them's, you know, do you get what I'm saying?
I mean, the
Well,
thing with the damage is its armor features are important. So while a 4-tap with the SR25 can be possible at like tier 1 armor, Mini 14 might not be possible due to its damage.
Yeah, there's some trade-off
shots
between
to kill
the two.
Shots and time to kill aren't everything. Like spread, armor threshold, range. Like Booze has the best DPS for a shotgun, but its range is just not there. So when it comes to balancing, it's not only like time to kill and stuff.
Alright, hey, I really appreciate being given a time to speak.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, thank you.
Alright, well, we are coming up on an hour and a half here. I think it's probably about time that we wrapped up the stream. So I think we'll do one more call if anyone wants to come up, speak to the dev team. You can go ahead and raise your hand now.
There's a panel with a red button. You just press that.
Panel.
So the small balancing nitpick that I've wanted to get out for a while. The sickle.
Oh my god, the sickle.
I
knew it.
That thing gonna go a little slower, or?
That thing goes so fast. Even if it does work, which I've heard mixed things about it, it doesn't look right for it to go that fast.
Yeah, it's definitely a little too fast. That needs to be adjusted.
So I saw that going through like the wiki and the files, there's a developer Karambit. Is that meant to be dev only?
Yes, it is. It's.
I didn't look at the stats of it. I probably should. should.
Yeah, it was added by a former dev.
Outside of like, I mean, just normal melees that you can get out of the crate, really not a lot, right?
Yeah, not really. In general, our melees, I feel like, have always been somewhat lacking. Like, the animations aren't particularly great, and especially...
And animations are hard.
With certain weapons, it can be annoying. Like, especially the Falchion, or however it's pronounced, that's found in the headquarters. The hitboxes can get kind of annoying. It can be annoying to hit stuff with it, especially when you're inside of a building.
Yeah, I've been seeing some problems with the Falchion specifically. I feel like it's a bit weak for a sword in a golden glowing box.
Yeah.
It feels like it doesn't feel very good to play with it or to use it.
Yeah, I do think that in general our melees need a rework, and that's definitely something I want to do in the not too distant future. So that would include new animations, like a rebalance, and probably like melees in the loadout. So like how Sir Viv had knives and things that you could select. Okay. Well, we don't have anyone else requesting to speak. I think that if anyone has any final questions, you can go ahead and ask them now in the event stage chat. And if no one else has any questions, I'll go ahead and call it there.
I will say there's a small bug in the new bunker.
Yeah?
So where the TV is placed with the two dressers, due to the tightness of the loot, some of it can go out of the bunker.
Ah.
And also still no bunker hitboxes.
Yeah, so I can add an offset to the loot spawning to fix it glitching out of the bunker. In terms of having spawn hitboxes for bunkers, that's probably something else that I'll do before releasing the update. But yeah, I think that will do it for today's stream. To be honest, I was kind of unprepared. Hopefully the next one will go a little bit smoother. And yeah, thank you all for coming, and I will see you next week.